Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Super excited to share with you Paris and Bisou's tub. This is a DIY project that I did. I had a little help from my dad who helped me put this together. So the backstory to this is when I got Paris, I bathed her in this baby bathtub, this white one, but I used to put it on the bathroom countertop and we have a sink there. And I used a connector. This is the Ace rinse hose connector where you just push this down and it just lightly sprays out. We had to attach this to our sink, the nozzle, and connect this to this, and that's how it would work. And for the longest, that's how I was bathing Paris. Actually, let me take you into the bathroom really quick to show you that. Okay, so I'm in the bathroom. Here's how my sink is. You can see it's a flat countertop. So my bathtub, or the baby bathtub, would rest on here, and there's a drain inside of the baby bathtub. So I made sure the drain fell inside of the sink, and I would connect this piece to the faucet, and then the other side would be the connector, would be the piece that you connect to that to hook everything up and have it running. And what I would do is I would drape an old plastic tablecloth right here. I would let it just drape down and try to cover the cabinets. And I also would open up these two cabinet drawers, and I would put an old beach towel there to help absorb any water that's going to fall out from the tub when I was bathing Paris. Unfortunately, that didn't really work. I loved having her here up high. I didn't have to bend over, and bathing her here was good. The bad part was that I couldn't stop the water from getting onto the cabinets. They were getting mildew and all of that. So I had to stop doing that anyway. This is the remodeled bathroom, so these aren't even the cabinets I'm talking about. These are the newer ones. But the old cabinets were oak, so you could really see the black mold starting to build up on the inside part. So that was hard to keep clean, and I knew I had to make changes to it anyway. But with the remodel, with these faucets, these newer faucets, this little connector doesn't fit. And the company Ace, I contacted them to see if there was something that I could try to make it fit, and they told me they didn't have anything. So that was a sign I had to do something. Okay, so back to the bathtub. So this tub is a baby tub. I got it from Target long before I knew, or long before Paris was at home with me. I knew I was getting her from the breeder soon, so I knew I wanted to bathe her in a baby bathtub on that countertop that I was showing you. So I already had this. I think it ran me for sure under $30, maybe $20. And it came with other parts that I don't need, so I just tossed all of that. So this baby bathtub does have a drain right here that you can plug up. So this is awesome. So the water does drain out there. And it's easy to keep clean. I do wash it every now and then after I bathe both my girls. If I see it's really dirty, I just take some Dawn dish detergent, and while this is in my shower, I just wipe it down and rinse it out and dry it. So that's the first thing that I have. The second thing is going to be this gate. It's kind of hard to see, but I needed something to have the tub rest on so it doesn't rock back and forth. I needed something flat. I'm going to show you those gates right now. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. All right, so the gate is out. These are exercise pins. We had a large, they're pretty big. I had a large one for the dog that I had prior to Paris. She was an elderly dog that we just had to keep contained because she was so old she would walk around and bump into things and so forth. So anyway, we already had these pins, and I did end up using them for Paris, and I had to buy a few more to block off certain areas of the house so she wouldn't roam around when she was a puppy. So I have plenty of these gates, and I'm going to zoom in right here on the label so you can see this is from Amazon. So, and this is super old, so you can see the tag here is pretty beat up, but it's from Midwest, and it's a black exercise pin. And there's the size for you, the 24 by 24. Okay, now these are 2 feet wide. Just one of these little doors here from here to here is 2 feet. So I didn't need the full 2 feet for the tub. I needed less than that because of the measurements, and I'll get into that in a few minutes. So we did have to trim off some of that, and we used, what did he use to cut it? Geez, let me go ask, hang on. All right, I had to ask what he used to cut these wire gates, and he said he used wire cutters, but it took a lot of strength to do it because we didn't have an all-purpose cutting tool. So if you have that handy, just use something that would work a lot easier for you. So I'm gonna go through how we measured how much of that we needed in a few minutes. Let me continue on with all the materials we had here. So PVC, this is going to be 1.5 inches size of the PVC. We ended up buying 2 of the, let's see, 2 10-feet pieces of PVC to make this. And then there's different connectors here. And I'm going to put this in the description so you can refer back to it. So at the top here, these are going to be couplings, well, the top and bottom. These pieces here, those are the couplings. So we ended up getting 8 of those to have them on each. And then we ended up getting the T-joints, and these are all to fit the 1.5 inch PVC. So, oh, and I forgot about the very, very bottom. Let me get down here so you can have a look. This particular coupling is threaded because this is a cap or a little flat part. We wanted it to be in the tub, and the covering or the bottom part, sometimes on PVC it's rounded, so that wouldn't have worked to keep this steady and flat. So we wanted something flat, and we found these little caps that would screw into this bottom coupling. So this particular coupling is threaded. The ones on top are not. These are meant to be glued down, which none of this is glued. Everything is just pushed in and it's held together really tightly. You can glue it if you want, but we did not. So these are not threaded, and they're also open at the top, which I regret. As you can see, they're starting to get pretty yucky. Let's see if I can get a better look here. Anyhow, you get the idea. So these are open, which I wish I would have told him to close these off, or I wish we would have thought of that, because water does get into here and I have to drain it. But anyhow, so yeah, these bottom parts at the caps, this is going to be hard for me to show you. Okay, I'm going to tilt this, or I'm going to attempt to tilt it. Okay, not happening. All right, went ahead and laid the tub down so you could see underneath. It was too hard for me to tilt it. So underneath here at the bottom of this cap, now you have a better look at that, we traced some of this. This is the, what do you put, I can't, slip in my mind what you call these things, but you see them all the time in the kitchen area where you lay it down in your your cabinets, and it keeps your pots and pans from sliding around. The liners, I can't think of what they're really called, but anyhow, we had some of this extra, so we went ahead and traced it on there, cut it out, and glued them down. Hot glue, I guess. I don't know what he used really, and that's just to help protect the floor if I'm sliding it on my floor, and in the actual tub, we didn't want it to get scratched. Okay, so back into the bathroom, I wanted to show you what we have. So we don't have in this house a laundry room that has one of those utility sinks in there that's easy to bathe your dog. That's why I was bathing Paris on my countertop with that tub. That was the best thing that I can come up with. So my next option was to do something in this combo shower tub, because we don't have a walk-in shower either. I'm going to show you how you have to measure to get the tub to fit in here. So this particular tub does slant here, so you have to be careful, and you don't want to measure from edge to edge. You want to measure the very bottom. So I have my tape measure here. I'm going to attempt to do this. So you want to get all the way to the bottom of where it's going to be flat. and then measure that, because that's going to be your width of how much the legs are going to fit inside the tub. You don't want it to get caught up here where it's going to start to, because this slants, so I want to catch it from the bottom, and I'm going to measure all the way to the edge there, and I'm not going to be able to do that one-handed by myself, because I wanted to make sure the tub was going to fit as close as I could get it here, as well as to the sides, and have room for me to stand in here, because I don't stand on the outside. I tried doing that, but water ends up splashing all along the tiles here, and I have this toilet in my way, so I can't really back up any further. I'm kind of in a tight spot. So I was forced to stand here and just grab the nozzle, which I'll show you that. And the tub is fairly light, so it's easy for me to pick it up and lift it here. So I'm going to get that to show you now. All right, so you'll see I have the tub in here, so you're going to see me lift it. I think it might weigh, I don't know, 12 pounds. I don't know. It's not very heavy. What puts the weight on it is the gate and the actual tub. The PVC is very, very light. So I'm going to show you me lifting it. Once I have it in there, I like to press down to make sure all the legs are forced down there. Okay. So there it is in the tub. And I have it as close as I can get it up against the sides and as far back as I can. And I prefer to have the drain facing me this way versus this way, because when the water comes down, all of this kind of stuff matters, believe it or not. As that water is draining, if it's draining in the back, more water tends to fall back here in this corner. I also like to keep my shower curtain inside. This is what it looks like. I keep the shower curtain inside again to help water from preventing to come out, splashing out, you know, from them shaking, and just sometimes I'll lose control of the handle and water just goes everywhere. And there's just enough space there for me to stand. And luckily we have these little ledges here where I put their products, and I can easily reach and shampoo them and things like that. So another thing you want to measure that I forgot to say, I knew because of the height of the countertop, I wanted it to be easy for me so that I didn't have to bend over at all with them in the tub. So what I did was I actually stood inside of the tub, and I had him measure from the bottom to my waist, and I knew that's how high I wanted this tub to be, and he marked that down, and that's how tall he knew to cut these pieces of PVC. To put the gate on and then the tub on top. So we had to measure the tub, however tall this was, to give that height added on to the PVC. So it can reach me just at the right height. And unfortunately, I'm not going to get one of the girls in here to show you, because they're already hiding because they're traumatized. Anytime they see this tub, they both hate taking a bath. But they fit in here nicely. They do stand up, put their little paws on the edge, and that's not so bad because I can reach under them when they do that, when they're standing up that way. And my hose is right above my head, but I do take it down and I'm able to rinse them off. And I can just let it rest inside the tub anytime I'm not using it, when I'm soaping them up. So I'm going to show you the hardest part for me is picking this up. And drying it off. So I'm going to show you that now. Okay, I'm not sure if this is going to be the best angle or if you're going to see very much of it once I step away because of how I have the camera set up. But there's an old rug that I'm going to move, that I usually stand on to help absorb water as I'm stepping out of the tub. It's sandwiched between the toilet and the edge of the tub there on the floor. So I'm going to move that to the center where I have room between the wall and this countertop. I'm going to turn the tub upside down because remember, I don't have caps on the top. That's open, so water is getting inside of those legs of the PVC. So I'm going to turn the tub upside down. All the water drains from inside of the tub that was remaining, as well as what was caught inside of the legs. That all drains. Now that to me is the hardest part because the tub's heavier, it's filled with water, and I'm also trying not to scratch up the walls with the gate of the tub. And then once I have the tub here, I dry it with an old beach towel. So I'm gonna try to demonstrate that now. So here's my rug. I just move it over to the center so any excess water can drain there. And then I push down on the tub, make sure it's locked down. I tilt it and then I grab from the middle, and then this is where I drain it. I just let it drain all the water there and then move it onto my rug. Once it's there, I have an old beach towel and I just start wiping everything. If I don't need to wash it, or even if I wash it in the tub, it doesn't matter. And I just start drying the entire thing, outside and in. I just pat dry the gate and wipe down the legs of the PVC. So now I'm going to show you where I store this. Okay, here inside this spare closet is where I store it, as well as you can see the gates, all those gates that I have are stacked up there in case I ever need them. So this closet doesn't really get used that often. It's just a little space here, and I'll leave it together when I store it. Initially, when we did this, I wanted to take these apart, the legs, and just put the legs together somewhere and leave them bundled up in the closet and lay the tub maybe on its side. But it is way easier for me if I leave everything connected. Again, you can glue this together if you want, and if you end up capping these, you won't even have to turn your tub upside down to drain the water. So the only thing you would have to do is make sure all the water is drained out your tub at the top, which wouldn't be so bad. You just tilt it forward, make sure it just drains out. But it's just so much easier for me if I leave it all together in one piece. And because I have those the padding at the bottom here, it's easy to slide back and forth. So it just slips right here. I'm trying to do this and not hit anything. There. And as you can see, I don't have closet doors. We use curtains. So if I have to close this off for company or whatever, it's easy. It won't hit any doors or anything like that. So that's where it stays when it's not in use. And then when I'm ready to use it, it's easy to pull out. I drag it towards that bathroom and then just bring it into the tub. So couple of other things that I forgot to mention earlier about building this. How we held it all together with the heavy duty zip ties. Now my dad is no carpenter. I literally told him this is what I want, and between the both of us, we just kind of pieced things together as best as we could. There may be way better ways to put a tub on something. You may not even need this gate. You know, work with what you have, or if you have someone that you know that has a better idea or knows really what they're doing, you know. But for us, this is what worked with what we had on hand. He drilled some holes. Once he put the tub, let's see what happened first. I believe he cut the pieces of the PVC after he measured it height-wise to me for how tall we needed the legs to be. And then he snapped all the pieces together. Once those legs were together, and you want to make sure, at first we just had the 4 legs with this piece here. We didn't have this cross section in the middle, and it was super wobbly. If those girls would have stood up, it was very wobbly. So we had to add this center section to help everything stay sturdy. But so once we figured all of that out, he added the gate. He did, like I said, he had to clip off, I don't know how much he had to clip off, maybe 2 inches, so it wouldn't hit the walls of the shower. But you can see here they're already starting to rust, but you can seal those off with something to help it not rust. He also filed it down, but it's still pretty rough and can scratch up something. But just be careful if you end up using metal like we did. And then he drilled holes into my tub. So there's a few holes here. I'm gonna see if I can get in there and show you. There's one there, and he only did 1 for each corner. So he can connect we used the zip tie to connect the gate to the tub. So you can see those are those 4 holes that I just showed you. And then he drilled a lot of holes around the top of the PVC. And again, if you're going to cap it, you can still drill holes here as well. And he just looped through a lot of these zip ties to hold it all together so it wouldn't shift. So that's how that's all staying together. And then he also used some clear caulking around the holes here that have, you can see a little space where the zip tie goes through. That helps for the water not to drain out of there. So that caulking is important as well. So that's what he did for me for that. So, but that's it. That's the whole tub. That's what we put together. That's what's been working for us. I've been using it like this for 2 or 3 years now. It was just murder on my back because after the remodel, when we had when the new cabinets were coming in, I had to get on my knees and bend over the tub and bathe them inside the tub until the remodel was done. And then we still had a couple of weeks after to build this. And it only took him a day. After we brainstormed and put everything together with the materials that we had, it just took him a day to cut that gate off, cut the PVC to size, made sure the glue that underneath for the padding was going to dry, as well as the caulking. He also spray painted it white. I told him it wasn't necessary. That's why you can see white around here too. It only took a day for the glue and paint to dry. And that was it. I was ready to roll. It was easy to use the next time. And so I hope this is helpful for everybody else, because I wish I would have seen a video like this before, way before, because I surely would have used that. It was very, very helpful for me, and my back is definitely thanking me now. But thanks for watching. I'm going to try to leave as much information in the information box below so you can reference that, because I know I kind of jumped back and forth with everything. But let me know if you have any other questions, and thanks for watching.